Hello, universe. Welcome back to the show. So a little bit of a heads up today. I am a little out of it. I got into a car accident this morning, and my airbags didn't go off, so I'm a little bit rattled. So I apologize if there's too much repetition, or if I'm saying way more than usual, or like, or whatever. Just bear with me. I am bored, supposed to be resting, but no rest for the dead. So I've been working anyways all day practically. I took a nap, which is good. Taking care of myself a little bit. Basically, I was getting to thinking earlier just about a lot of different types of people that are around in the world. Two people in particular I'm going to share today. Maybe more to come later. Oop, knocking things over. Oh, by the way, I got a microphone, so hopefully the sound quality is a lot better. Gray, let me know how this sounds. I love you. To all others, aside from Gray, I hope it sounds better to you too. So a little while ago, I was in Evergreen, and for those of you who know me or listen to the first podcast, I grew up in Evergreen. I spent the first 13, 14 years of my life up there, and I met a lot of friends. I wasn't very sociable, so I stuck very, very close with the people that I connected with. Aside from that, I didn't really have that many friends total. I just made really good ones when I did. There was one girl in first grade who sticks out in my memory like a goddamn sore thumb. So her name is going to be called Megan. We'll call her Megan today. So Megan, in first grade, when we had desks and everything, this is before my Montessori days, and I was in the public school. We had the desks, and the teachers were kind of dicky. There was a couple nice ones that I remember, but most of them were just kind of blah and not interesting or incredibly rude or both. So this girl, Megan, she used to steal my stuff. She would go through my desk and steal my cute pens that my mom bought me, and my cute little erasers and pencil toppers. She actually stole my winter coat one winter, which was a really big deal because we were not wealthy by any way, shape, or form. So whenever I got cute things, they kind of meant a lot to me. That's my stuff. That's I got a new thing. That's really exciting. It's not like any kid who would get brand new shoes every school year. We'd get brand new shoes once we grew out of all of our other shoes. There was no in between. So this coat that she stole was the brand new coat that we had just gotten. And like I said, we didn't get brand new stuff often at all. It took us a little while to actually figure out that she was the one who stole it. And we don't really know why she would steal things from me, but she was just kind of vicious. So on top of her stealing my stuff, if I ever came to go grab my stuff back, she would go run off to the teacher, who hated me with a fiery passion. Keep that in mind. I don't have a problem saying her name because I don't know her first name. It's only her last name. So her name was Mrs. Trickle. Mrs. Trickle did not like me at all because I hung out with all of the naughty little boys who would get in trouble and run down the hallways and make a mess and everything. Granted, I wasn't badly behaved. I just enjoyed those people over the preppy little white girls. So I hung out with the troublemaker boys. So she did not like me even an ounce at all. And for those of you guys who remember having to flip cards, Mrs. Trickle made me flip a card one time for trying to ease a situation. She just didn't like me. And turns out at the very end of the year, whoever didn't get to flip any cards got a present. And so I got to sit there, and she just got to look at me oh, I got to make you flip a card so you don't earn any praise. She was a terrible teacher. But so a little backstory on that is now done. Megan, when she'd steal my stuff, I'd go try to grab my stuff back. when I tried to grab my stuff back, Megan would go run to Mrs. Trickle and be like, Sequoia's stealing my stuff. Sequoia's stealing my stuff. And I would be the one that would get in trouble. I'd have to go to the office. I'd have to go to the special ed office. She would just send me away, just wherever, whoever would take me, just like, get her out of this room, like, whatever. I don't like you. So there wasn't anything that we could really do, because even though my mom believed me, because I've never been a liar, I've been more brutally honest than like most people I know. People don't like me for that often, but so my mom didn't ever get mad at me for getting sent to the principal's office or sent to the special ed office or just kicked out into the hallway or whatever that Mrs. Trickle decided to send me to. So in my mind, since first grade, this girl, Megan, has always just stuck in my head as this annoying little pest. So not too long ago, I was up in Evergreen again, and I went to my favorite bagel shop called The Bagelry. For those of you who aren't aware of that but live in Colorado, definitely go check it out. Really, really good food. So I went up there and I ordered my food like any regular Thursday morning, ordered my typical order and everything. And I look over and I make eye contact with Megan. And we just kind of stand there for a second, making dead eye contact, trying to figure out how we knew each other, because we both look pretty significantly different. Like, she ended up becoming very tall. I'm very tall. And we remember each other as first grade little children. But we could see it in each other's face, like, oh, I know you. Why do I know you? She's the first one to say something. She goes, you went to school with my little sister, right? I'm like, no. I remember you. And it just came out, no filter. She's like, I remember you. I remember. Whoa. But she ended up being super, super sweet. She made me my bagel perfectly. And she started asking me questions about life, like, how are you? Like, all this and that. And she made it very clear. She's like, I don't remember you at all. And it was just a fascinating little click. Like, holy shit. The little memories that you have of people, or the little stereotypes that you put people into just because of something that happened, God, now like 15 years ago. Jesus Christ. Am I really? Goodness. I don't like thinking about life in matters of how many years ago. But she was so sweet. And then like next week she happened to be working as well. She kind of did the exact same thing. We ended up finding out that we both got signed by the same modeling agency. She ended up dropping it. As of recently, I've kind of dropped it too. But yeah, it was just super interesting. It changed my perspective a lot to like let go of past memories. And not so much like let it go, because like in my mind she's still like my first grade bully, because it's kind of funny looking back on it. But like now, like she's someone that I would hang out with and I'd probably have a great time like talking with. So these like stereotypes we create for people, or these bubbles that we put people into, like you never know what they're really going to turn into, like how they're going to change, or if they're going to be that way forever. So jumping to today, the other fascinating individual that I want to share about, I didn't actually catch his name because of the chaos of the day. But I got into a car accident this morning, and basically what happened was I was driving eastbound at sunrise. For those of you who live in Colorado or a lot of other very colorful states, when you're driving towards the sun at sunrise, you can't see shit. Like, just period. And the sun was literally like perfectly lined up with the street I was on. So I couldn't see the lights at all. And I looked at the side and I was like, okay, I can't see the lights on the side. And I was going the speed limit. I was actually slowing down pretty significantly. And I was like, okay, the cross traffic is not moving. And I was just pulling up to the intersection. So I was like, okay, I should have a green light because no one else is moving. What I'm thinking happened was, as I was going through the intersection, the driver in the cross lane of traffic, he noticed that he had a green light. And I don't know if, like, I can't say if he was on his phone or something or just preoccupied, but he just stepped on the gas without seeing me. He was in this massive black truck, like a big Ram 6-wheel truck or something. And I got hit from the front end and kind of spun to the side a little bit. And we both got out really, really quickly. And this first split second, because I saw his truck after I got out of the car before I saw him really. And I was like, oh shit. Like, just this little piece of my mind being like, I just hit a hick and he's going to hate me for killing his truck. It was a really flash thought, so it didn't linger that long. But as soon as I saw him, this like autopilot hit, and I just opened my arms to him. And I stood on the sidewalk and I just like kept my arms open. He ran to me and I wrapped my arms around him and we just hugged. He was shockingly shorter than I had anticipated. My arms actually went over his. But we just like stood there and hugged for a good minute and 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. And we just like embraced it. We just shook. We just kind of like processed everything for a split second, and people in the other sides of the intersection were like yelling at us like, you want us to call 911? And we just kind of both put up a thumbs up and nodded without saying a word. We just needed to be there in that moment for one another. And it was a really, really amazing sensation. Like, later on, of course, the reality hit, like, fuck, I don't have a car. I might not be able to work. My foot is injured, like, whatever. Like, I was just like, fuck. But in that moment, it couldn't have been more perfect given the chaos that had occurred. And that little bubble that I put him into right as soon as I saw his truck, especially it being like a big black Ram, like there's just a stereotype to drivers that drive those vehicles. But it just like, it soaked in so deeply that this man was a child in his mind, just terrified, like, oh shit, I could have hurt someone. I was almost hurt. It just like all of this processing at once. I felt like a mother bear, just like, I don't know what came over me, but I just stood there with my arms open and just like looked at him, just like, come here. And I just embraced him. And it was just like, we both came back to this root of like childlike fear, where we just needed to be held. We just needed that reassurance that we're okay, we're breathing, we're alive, we're okay, we're functioning. And it was incredible given the circumstances. Because in my mind, right at first, I was going to get yelled at. Someone was going to get super pissed at me, ask me for my insurance information without asking me if I was okay or anything. Like, my nose was, not my nose, but like the bridge of my nose was bleeding and like everything. And I just like, I was fully prepared. I didn't know I was bleeding at the time, but like in my mind, I was like, I feel injured. And I'm going to get yelled at. It was just like this immediate like, oh shit. But the way it played out completely different. Like, I completely misread the cover of this book. I read Hick and I got Child's Teddy Bear. And it was just really, really transformative for my thought process. That people living throughout life, maybe he is a Hick. I don't know. I have no idea. But in this moment, he was not at all any stereotype I could have even remotely imagined putting him into. Granted, like, I shouldn't put anyone in a stereotype. It's just part of our society. That's just partially how we operate. You see someone's skin tone. Sometimes people have a reaction to that. If someone's taller, sometimes people have a reaction to that. If you're brunette, if you're blonde, if you got blue eyes, if you're in some ways, like blonde and blue-eyed, like God forbid, some people just can't fathom these kinds of people because of the stereotypes that they surround these people with. But at the very end of the day, kind of going back to the last podcast that I shared, that people just need love. Like, as hippy dippy as that sounds and everything, we are all just children caught up in an adult lifestyle because that's what our society has decided we need to do. We need to make money. We need to drive massive 2-ton vehicles and hopefully get to work alive. But when things go wrong, your childlike mentality comes out because you're just scared. That primal need to just be protected and be told like you're okay, it spews out of every pore. So going back a little bit to a podcast, I can't remember if it was my last one or the one before, where I was discussing people, I'm paraphrasing myself, please don't take my words out of my mouth and misuse them. The KKK members I was referencing, saying that they were seeking a sense of family and ended up getting caught in the KKK because they found that sense of family, but then later left and found out that the reason why they got so caught up is because they were looking for that place of acceptance. So going, kind of crossing the two podcasts just a little bit, all of these people that we have a stereotype around, people will make bad decisions if they don't have the right care. And so this is just a little brief reminder to show people that care, to show people that you love them, that you want to hold on to them, that they're worth it, that they are okay. And even if you're not, sometimes you just got to open up those doors. Like, I can't imagine, like, if I just stood there and was just stunned and stared at my car and looked at his car and stared at my car and stared at his car, there's a chance maybe he could have gotten really mad, being like, what the hell happened? Like just this release of frustration, not necessarily anger at me, but just frustration at the situation. But because I didn't react that way, and whatever came over me just let me open my arms to him wholeheartedly, it reassured him that he was okay. And after the EMTs and everything checked me out, kind of let me know, like, kind of, you're concussed. Do you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to pay for an ambulance. I'll just have my mom take me, whatever. And we're filling out the rest of the paperwork, and both of us got ticketed, actually, for this incident. The dude came back to me with his dog, and his dog was in the back of the truck, and thank God he hit me the way that he did rather than me hitting him the way that he hit me, because that dog would not have been okay, because he just probably hit the back seat, like the driver's seats, head on, rather than like getting twisted and thrown to the side of the car or anything. Like, he was totally fine. This little dog named Quinn. I love that I got the dog's name but not the human's name. And so the guy just came over, and I was just crying and crying and crying, because my whole job is dog walking for the most part. Like, I dog sit, but a lot of my days I'm out dog walking. So, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Maybe not. Whew, it's right there. I can feel it. Oh, well, we'll see if it comes back. But just this huge wave came over me of, I'm not going to be able to walk the dogs I love so much. I'm not going to be able to work, like, right now. Like, my foot, like, I don't know exactly what happened with my foot, if it got squished in the impact, or I really can't tell you. I just know that it fucking hurts. And so just like this whole flood of, like, my job is gone. I can't drive to my job. I can't walk the dogs if I were to be able to drive to the dogs. And so it was just like this anxiety of the money versus what I love to do versus the state of mind I was in versus, like, I might actually be injured, like, all of these emotions happening at once. And this guy just brought his dog over to me, and he was like, this is Quinn. And I just sat on the ground, just kind of like wiping my tears off and petting the dog, and wiping my tears off and petting the dog. And we just laughed and we just talked for a second. And, like, while we were waiting for the tow trucks to come pick up our broken pieces of shit at this point. And I could not have asked for a better person to get hit by a truck by. I just want to throw this out there to just remember that everyone needs love, like I said earlier. And that more than anything, that you need to have love for yourself in order to break free from the stereotypes you apply to other people. Because I know I probably would not have opened my arms to him if I had put myself in a stronger box as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope this wasn't as boring as maybe it sounds like in my own head right now. But as always, jump on the Dead Roots Facebook page, give that a little like. Jump on the Dead Roots Instagram page and check me out on Santa Sequoia on Instagram. And I hope you guys are proud of who you were today and keep being fucking amazing. Bye, guys.